Wow. Okay. And screen share. Perfect. So, friends, thank you so much for coming to the Garden State Esports kind of spring reveal and what's ahead. My name is Chris Aviles. I am the president here of Garden State Esports, and I know we have some new faces, so I kind of want to just share a very brief history. I've been kind of involved in esports since '98 when I played competitive StarCraft as like an eighth grader. And I've been trying to bring esports to New Jersey since 2011. And it wasn't until 2018 when I got to Fairhaven that I was able to do so. So in 2018, I started the first middle school esports team in the country. And what was funny is as the first middle school team, we didn't have anybody else to play. So I actually started emailing and tweeting colleges that had programs. So our first match was actually against Rutgers. And since then, you know, that's a tradition that we have continued. You know, right after we started to play Rutgers, I reached out to my co-founder, Steve Isaacs, because I knew he had a video game club and I asked him to put a team together. But also because we were the first middle school programs and we were playing colleges, we got a lot of really nice press. And from that press, a lot of people kind of nationwide reached out and said, okay, we want to do this. How can we get involved? So year one, you know, we wound up playing 3 matches against other middle schools and 2 matches against colleges. But over that summer, a lot of other schools from around the country reached out. And that second year, I ran a nationwide esports league of about 60 schools. Year 3 rolls around, you know, especially with COVID and I have some free time. What I decided to do, because the time zones were so difficult, is I helped the West Coast teams and the Mountain Time teams form their own league. And I kept around the East Coast teams, you know, and the Central teams, and started Garden State Esports. And when we kind of launched in June and getting ready for that fall season, we started with about 22 districts. And I'm really excited over the last, you know, 5 or 6 months as we wrap up our fall season. We've grown to 83 districts and community organizations in New Jersey, which represents about 20% of the state. And I write community organizations too, because one of the things I wanted to make sure that folks understood about our mission is we are not just here to serve school districts. Anybody who has students that would benefit from esports and the potential it provides, we're happy to have. So in our league, we have the Boys and Girls Club of Atlantic City. In our league, we actually have some churches and youth groups coming aboard who we're going to be running some leagues for. The Burlington Community Library System. We've been talking to the New Jersey chapter of the Special Olympics. So if any of you have any of those connections to any of these after-school religious community organizations, right, we are happy to have them. I think that's one of the things that not only makes esports unique, but also makes Garden State Esports unique is we're here to serve any organization that can make schools better. So the growth that we've seen in the, you know, since we started has been fantastic. And so thank you all for that. But I kind of want to start as close, you know, as home as we can, right, with the spring season. What are we going to be doing this spring? As the fall season winds down and we look back at our time, not just in the fall season, but also what we've learned over, you know, the really 2 seasons now of running a league. We need to diversify our experiences. I'll give you an example. More than half of the league right now has not been able to participate because we have not been offering something outside of our season. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to have different pathways for different students, different programs, right, kind of based on their ability and their interest. And so what we're going to start rolling out this spring and into next year are really 2 pathways. The first one is going to be our club or JV experience, which we're kind of calling friendlies. And what those are going to be are these kind of drop in and play experiences where if you miss a week or kids are absent, that's totally fine, right? Anytime that you want to play and you have kids available, you can go ahead and play. And so what that looks like, we're thinking is we're going to have like Rocket League Mondays, Smash Brothers Tuesdays, maybe it's Overwatch Wednesdays, We recently got our creator code, so if we wanted to do Fortnite tournaments just for GSE New Jersey students, that could be on Thursdays. And what we are coming up with is the window to join or register for that day is going to be the school day, because what we don't want to do is we don't want people to sign up and then not show up, right? One of the biggest things about running an esports league that we've learned is forfeits, right, are a killer. And so to prevent that, we're going to have a real tight, small window using Discord, which is important, why everybody should be in it. But basically, let's say it's a Monday and it's Rocket League Monday. You know, the casual experience starts at 3:30. You go, you say, okay, I'm ready to play. And then it matches you up with somebody who's ready to play that day. And you have that casual experience. And again, if the kids are absent, if kids miss a day, or as a school you miss a day, it's not a big deal, right? It's supposed to be fun. We're probably not even going to keep records and stuff like that. But we do know that there are some kids, right, that enjoy that competitive season play. And we're going to also offer that as well. Because what we're seeing, you know, on teams like mine and teams like Steve and stuff like that, half of my team is, you know, diamond or better in Rocket League, for instance, and the other half of my team, you know, just started playing the game. And so to be able to give those competitive kids, those higher ranking kids, the ability to have a competitive season that's more serious, where records are kept and rosters are turned in, right, we think is important. So what you're going to see is not only a casual or JV friendly experience, but you're also going to see a more serious competitive play that you can have kids enter as you see fit. And that competitive season play, right, is where it's going to, you know, have your tournaments, your playoffs, and your state championships. And so what that's going to look like this spring, for high school, we're going to offer Rocket League. And because high school Rocket League and high school Overwatch were played through NASIP at a national level, right? Most of those teams in New Jersey that entered didn't get to play each other. And so that's why we're going to do a high school Rocket League state championship, just New Jersey teams. We're going to do a high school Overwatch state championship just for New Jersey teams. We're going to have high school Smash friendlies. We're going to have a high school Madden Invitational. We've worked out some stuff with EA so that we're going to have kind of a national invitational Madden tournament that we are eligible to participate in. At the middle school level, we'll have our Rocket League friendlies, our Overwatch friendlies, and our Brawlhalla friendlies. And one thing I want you to keep in mind, right, a lot of thought was put into these games. Rocket League is free to play and cross play. I have been surprised about middle school Overwatch, where more than half of our middle schools have been able to get Overwatch approved. So we're going to try that out and see what that looks like. And the reason why I'm offering high school Smash, but not middle school Smash, is because when we have these competitive seasons, we want to make sure we factor in equity. And the fact that not all schools will have access to a Switch and all schools will have access to the game, it's really hard to call the state championship. So we're going to pilot Brawlhalla as a middle school option, just to kind of see what traction we get. And then for everybody, we will have the Minecraft build challenges right through NASIP for the Rube Goldberg challenge that starts soon. And then again, with our creator code, we will also be doing Fortnite duos and squads, kind of friendly, fun tournaments. But one of the things I'm really excited about is our high school UGC League of Legends Invitational. If you guys have been following Riot, the team who makes League of Legends, there's been a lot of back and forth about who is eligible to hold League of Legends competitions. And so one of our special guests and one of our special partnerships who I'm going to turn over to for a few minutes is Matt Jackson. We are going to be moving off of League Spot in the spring and moving on to the UGC platform. And I'm super excited about that because it's going to allow me to create all of these different seasons and these different leagues and these different options, right, in a way that I can't do right now, on top of the amazing things that Matt and UGC have been doing, are doing, and will be doing, not just with us, but nationwide. And so, Matt, let me turn it over to you and just kind of, you know, tell us a little bit about UGC and what we can expect.
Sure. Let me preface this with, I am in Mexico and I may have had a couple margaritas. So, but I did not want to miss this meeting. I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate Chris. This opportunity is amazing. I love what Garden State Esports has done for the scholastic space. A little bit about myself. I have my master's in architecture. So my background is architecture. I taught at a community college in Southern Illinois for several years. So I think um, this world's aligning perfectly for me because I love educators and I love what you guys do and I understand it. On the flip side, when I was 19, I started an esports company. So in 2005, UGC was birthed and we started hosting live events, small little events in convention centers, high schools, skating rinks. And we loved, when I say we, I mean, I love competitive video gaming, the competition value that you find from that. Super interested in cross country track. I coached that at a college. I ran in college. Also love basketball. So I love the competitive nature that you see from those types of things. But I also love video games and esports. And so that's really how UGC emerged. Myself being from education, and really kind of stumbling, if I'm being honest, stumbling through the esports space for many years. We host events for Microsoft. We've done a $250,000 prize pool tournament in Las Vegas with Caesars, and it was at Caesars Entertainment Studios where they host Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. All this kind of craziness for esports, but I could not really find the groove on how we establish a structure for esports. And this last year, even with COVID, kind of pivoting and saying, hey, the scholastic space needs support, has helped me see a vision for how we can actually establish a way that a middle schooler, a high schooler, a college esports competitor can become an amateur and also become a pro gamer, as well as the career opportunities that are created from this space. And that's what really gets me juiced up is I love the idea of making new jobs, not just jobs. Like you can make a graphic design position for a graphic design firm. That's great. Imagine esports is creating a whole new position. We're not taking a job from somebody. We're creating a new job. And so this last year, meeting Dr. Atkins, meeting Chris, it's been awesome because I can see finally how this is going to be impactful to a bigger picture than just video gaming. And so, yeah, that's me and that's UGC. From Chris's standpoint and technology, I hope UGC can provide a solution for you guys for technology support structure. We have good developer relationships with game developers. So Psyonix is one of our biggest partners right now. We did the Battle Academy with Dr. Atkins last year, and it was pretty wild to see a college and high school tournament getting 15,000 views on our Twitch channel because Psyonix is going to support it. And my hope is that we can be a mouthpiece for you guys as well as other states and say, hey, these guys need support, they need funding, and they need to be able to do what they want to do. And look at the great platform they've built because, I mean, Garden State Esports is a leader. I've talked to several statewide organizations, but you guys are doing it correctly and you guys are doing it in a big way. And I think this is something that we can also funnel funding down from the top to you guys as at a state level so you can build your program. So my hope is really that we can support on a technology level. Chris and your team has direct access to UGC's technology development team. And you're going to be able to say, hey, this doesn't work, this does work, this doesn't work, this does work. And they're going to fix it and build what you need. We're going to help you guys on a broadcasting level as much as you want, but we're also not here to take anything from you. So it's your guys' stuff. I want to support it. And I guess kind of like what's the catch type deal is I would love your students after they graduate. That's for me. We're not selling student data. We're not going to charge anything. It's all completely free. But when your seniors become graduates and they go into the amateur gaming space or the collegiate gaming space, I would love to offer esports stuff to them. And that's where I see a long-term value for us. And I don't know, I mean, Chris, if I missed anything, please feel free to hop in. But I do have a heart for what you guys do. And a lot of you guys are doing this for free and volunteering. And I've been there, I've done it. I volunteered for Skills USA, which is a CTE or vocational type competition for architecture, CAD, heating and air, whatever you can imagine from a vocational perspective. I volunteered for that. I would kind of be grumbly and irritated about, oh, I'm putting all my time in this. I'm traveling for a whole week to do this thing, and I'm getting no offset to it, just to know to build your students' program and to add value to your students. And I want to help. Honestly, this is the most excited I've been, and we have a full-time team of about 8 people that is at your disposal, and it's not going to cost you anything. And just know, because it sounds super like, what's the catch? The true catch is I want your students after they graduate to compete and be part of UGC. I'd love to market to them and offer them other esports activations, but I will not sell student data. We will not like do anything malicious. And I also think that that's a very good sustainable strategy long term, which is why I'm excited. There's others in the space that are trying to charge an insane amount up front, or they're raising a ton of money. And for UGC, it's not that. We want to make a good product, and I want to make esports a sustainable solution. And the only way to do that is to start in middle school and high school, and then build to that amateur type status. So.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah. And so, I hope that you guys know, first and foremost, as educators, and everybody on the Garden State Esports staff is an educator, student experience and student protection is number one. And so Matt and I are going to be releasing our student policy that we have worked together on, that outlines, exactly Matt was talking about, what data is being used, how it's being used. And what I think is pretty revolutionary about what we're doing is a very clear monetization strategy when it comes to what Matt and UGC are doing after, because it doesn't do us any good for Matt to go out of business. So making sure that his program is taken care of in a way that is conducive to what we're doing is super important. And so we can answer some questions about that later, but we have that all written out for everybody, so everyone will know how that all is going to work.
One thing, Chris, I just want to share is,
yes,
we do. So one strategy we're trying to work on, and it's with Dr. Atkins and SHI as well, is how can we provide support for you guys to get equipment and esports labs at your school, and also making sure that it is STEAM or STEM based. I'm not sure what New Jersey kind of does, but with SHI, they have Autodesk, they have Adobe as some of their partners. I know these labs are going to be built with premium equipment. That is what you need. Like, you can't run 3ds Max on a brick. You have to have a good machine. So a way that we could get grant funding to provide a 50-50 match for you guys to build a lab at your school that after hours will be used as an esports lab, but during the day might be a video editing lab or a 3D modeling lab. I want to work to provide support for that as well. And then to Chris's point, as a sustainable solution economically for UGC to be here for years, we see that as a way to sell sponsorships, sell partnerships with SHI, with LG Electronics, with MSI, with whoever it may be. So my goal is to go out as UGC, as a bigger type kind of corporate brand, and sell these spots that then funnels down money to Chris and Garden State Esports, so that he can provide support to you guys, as well as offering this grant opportunity to where if your school has funding of 50% to match the 50% we can put in, we can build you a lab. So I can't stress enough how much I really understand what educators go through, and like the volunteering and kind of like the good felt hearted piece that you guys do every day for your students. And I'm so happy this year has led to this, because it's making esports make a lot of sense for me as how it can change people's lives, to be honest. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Wonderful. So as we continue, excited about the partnership with UGC and all the opportunities, right, that we can get for all of us. But a lot of the new initiatives I want to share too are in that same vein, which is the school to career pipeline vein, right? We have a lot of things cooking in that area. And so I wanted to share with you a couple different things. Number one, right, when we talk about the school to career pipeline, it's basically how do we get our students to be able to follow their passion for gaming, right, into a post-secondary career, whether it's a college, whether it is a trade school, whether it is the military, and then into a career. And when the team and I kind of started to brainstorm, right, we asked ourselves, what would a college partnership look like with Garden State Esports? And we said, number one, near peer coaching would be fantastic, right? What we're finding in Garden State Esports is half of our coaches are gamers and are comfortable in the space. And the other half of our coaches are those type of teachers that kids go to because they're the cool teacher that everybody likes. And they say, hey, you know, we really want an esports team. Can you come do this? But those teachers maybe aren't as comfortable when it comes to coaching the games itself. And so, right, getting a near peer coaching pipeline, facility uses, right? Having the esports arenas at places like Rowan and Rutgers and you know, other colleges open to schools in the area certain days a week for practices and stuff like that. Invitational events, college nights, work study opportunities, even talked about, you know, college application help and interview practice and all that good stuff. So on that front, I'm really excited to announce that we have our first college who's come aboard and is willing to go down this road with us, and that's New Jersey City University. And so New Jersey City University is going to be signing up their players as coaches that you will all have access to. They are going to be helping us when it comes to facility use if you are in that area. They're going to be sponsoring some invitationals for us as well as college nights where they can meet players, talk to them about their majors, or meet people at New Jersey City University faculty and what the different opportunities there are. And what I'm excited about is this is something we plan to grow, right? I would love to bring on all of these community colleges and all of these universities and colleges that have programs, but we had to start somewhere. And what I'm excited about with New Jersey City University, number one, they are putting their money where their mouth is. So they are going to help give work study money to their kids who do wind up coaching, as well as provide credit opportunities, internships, and semester-long based, you know, experiences for them. So that way they're investing in their students as well as, right, the people in Garden State Esports. But on a personal level, right, New Jersey City University is the most diverse university in New Jersey. And what I like about this is, you know, I believe representation matters. And so we are able to pair, you know, near peer coaches with students who look like each other. And so that way, right, these kids who maybe don't see each other going to college, don't see themselves going to college, right, will have that near peer role model who can hopefully, you know, be a positive influence on their life. So we're excited to continue to roll out what this is going to look like with Jersey City University. And we're excited to bring on other colleges, community colleges, universities as well. We've been in talks with about a dozen of them so far. But, you know, we're excited to have New Jersey City University be the first. The other thing that we wanted to figure out, right, the other part of that pipeline were the businesses, the companies, the for-profits, right? There is a place for for-profit companies in scholastic esports, and it's not charging schools and running the leagues, right? But I think it's from a supportive standpoint. And so when we talked about, right, what can the for-profits help with Garden State Esports? How can these companies support what our mission is, right? Creating game-changing students using esports. We talked about career spotlights and workshops. We talked about sponsorships because we know that there are equity issues in districts who need extra support. Events and field trips, internships, resume builders, and cool, right? I'm not a big fan of cash prizes, but cool prizes. And so one of those we heard a little bit about earlier, but I want to introduce Dr. Katrina Atkins. Not only is she a close friend of mine, but she is part of SHI, which, as you heard, is headquartered in New Jersey. And so when I reached out to her, I wanted to, you know, number one, make sure we had that strong New Jersey connection. But number two, having known Katrina for probably 7 or 8 years now, I know that as a former educator, she gets what it means to teach students through what they're passionate about. And so I will let Katrina take over and kind of share a little bit about what we have planned with our partnership with SHI and Intel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I know I spoke a little bit earlier. I think Regina got excited maybe and said, "Hey, Katrina, tell us where you're coming from." So, so for those of you that were on the call earlier, I'll share again just a little bit about myself and SHI. And I know you see the Intel logo there, and I'll kind of piece that all together for you. So, like Chris said, I am a former educator. I taught anything from kindergarten through college. Was a tech coach and a director of technology. And there's several people on this call that I know just from Twitter, from, being at conferences, from being at ISTE. Chris and I had, many fun ISTE adventures for sure. So, um, so I am now with SHI, and SHI is a reseller of anything and everything you can think of education wise. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm very focused on esports, and not just esports in a way that you would think. A lot of people say, "Oh, esports, isn't it just kids gaming?" Of course, I'm preaching to the choir here. Of course, it's not just kids gaming. There's so much that goes into it. There's so much behind the scenes. There's so much that students are learning from it. And I took a heavy interest in figuring out how SHI can help connect the dots with schools so that students could come out of high school, perhaps in a job, in a field, in an esports field, marketing, broadcasting, something around there. Or if they want to go on to college, how do they find colleges that provide esports opportunities and maybe even get a scholarship? I was actually on a call with the superintendent the other day, and his son has a full ride baseball scholarship to a university. He just turned it down to play esports for a college. I'm not sure how the dad feels about that, but the kid is very excited. So this tells you how important the world of esports is to students. I also have two kids. I have a 17-year-old son, and I have a almost 15-year-old daughter. And for those of you that know me, you've probably actually met my kids. They used to travel around to conferences with me and speak on Minecraft and STEM and student voice, and all kinds of different things. And so as a mom, I've lived the gaming life for years. My son in his room yelling and screaming and playing, and so I've always just valued personally this side of things and esports in general. So as I mentioned earlier, we are here to support you. SHI and Intel has partnered together to make sure that you have the funding that you need to make esports successful in your state. I don't ever want to, have a school or a student that can't play because they can't afford to play, or can't play because they don't have the equipment at their school that they need. And so we're trying, since SHI is based in New Jersey, we're trying really hard to help support you, help support your schools with a full picture. Not just saying, "Hey, here's devices and keyboards and mice and all that kind of stuff," but really helping to support you on the curriculum side of things if you need help there, as well as guidance into jobs and the market and all of that. So I'm just super excited to even be on this call. It's an honor to be here with all of you, and thank you, Chris, for this opportunity. It's been amazing. I am currently on my own journey to get an esports program started at my own kids' school. In the state of Tennessee, and working hopefully at the state level to get an ASIF affiliate going. So I'm wanting to do the work as well, and help kids out in my home state as well as yours. So thank you again, Chris, for this opportunity, and just really, really happy to be a part of this.
Thank you, Katrina. Awesome, super exciting. And so one of the things I'm most excited about With the partnership with SHI and Intel, we are able to keep Garden State Esports free for the next 18 months to everybody. Between Matt and Katrina and SHI and Intel and UGC, they have picked up the tab for what it takes to run the league, as well as we have some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline for everybody as well. But one of the missions when it comes to esports is keeping it equitable, and I want it to be as free as possible for as long as possible. So any of that overhead it takes to run this league has been very graciously picked up by Katrina, Matt, UGC, SHI, and Intel. But the other relationship I'm super excited to share our other super special guest who is joining us today. And I'll tell you, this one's special for me because they've been around in esports since 1997. I got started in esports since like 1999, and I grew up watching StarCraft through these guys. I'm excited to introduce Anthony Scala from Evil Geniuses. And again, if you're a gamer, that name automatically jumps out to you, but I want to let Anthony talk about the relationship that Evil Geniuses and Garden State Esports are excited to share together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And appreciate the introduction, Chris. And likewise, really excited to meet all of you and just hear a little bit more about your program and what you've all been building. I know Chris and I have shared some really awesome conversations on and off over the last few months. So we're going to kind of soft roll out some stuff here, and I'll just kind of give you the play-by-play for what we're thinking. Apologies for any formatting or font issues. Chris, I'll have to drop you our Evil Sans font from EG, so that way formatting's not all wonky next time. But before I jump into kind of who EG really is, just a quick highlight about myself is I'm the collegiate lead here at Evil Geniuses. So essentially, I'm tasked with the continued development of support for not only collegiate, but K through 12 amateur as well. And that is both external and internal. So I oversee day-to-day our internship program at Evil Geniuses. And then more specifically public facing, what I try to do is translate that and scale it differently and apply it back to the mass market and allow accessibility for resourcing and development and professional support from Evil Geniuses, but for those that aren't also lucky enough to be able to have a direct internship opportunity with us. So Chris is right on though with the timeline, and we are based out of kind of two states though. We have a headquarters in Los Angeles and one in Seattle as well. I personally am based out of Seattle. I'm from Michigan originally, love the East Coast, lived in New Jersey actually for a little bit when I was playing hockey. So New Jersey and Wawa are near and dear to my heart always. So selfishly, I'm looking forward to the day that I can hopefully just take a flight out there and be able to hang out with you all in person. So of course we can make really cool, great things happen, but I can also get a chicken parm sub from Wawa for the first time in about a decade. So regardless, a little bit about kind of our overall mission and vision here at Evil Geniuses and our collegiate and youth initiatives. It's right on here, right? We believe in shaping the champions of tomorrow and helping inoculate people within the ranks so that they can find themselves with a full-time opportunity at an Evil Geniuses or a Razor or a Monster, or unfortunately, I might not always like them sometimes, but a Team Liquid or a Cloud9 or a Team Solo Mid as well, right? So we want to empower the students, though. We want to provide them a clear understanding for not only what opportunities and jobs and functions exist in the actual endemic professional side of the industry, but how you get there, right? We found, and anyone that's been up and down through either youth and collegiate and at every rank in between, the K through 12 in the youth market has been something that I did development in years and years back. And I saw firsthand after I went to collegiate and now the pro side that everyone becomes hyper fixated on taking the next collegiate students or taking the next 20 21 year olds and trying to transition them into the gaming market and at these organizations. And me being a human resource background, my specialty lies within training, development, and growth exclusively. So I see something like that, and I see the modeling that's been present for numbers of years now, and it's grossly negligent, in my opinion, to not develop and provide same emphasis and resourcing towards the K through 12 market, right? I would much prefer that we can develop these students and get them understanding about what it takes in the industry and what opportunities exist in the industry at a younger age, instead of trying to start them from square one when they're a freshman or a sophomore or a junior in college already. So we're looking to apply a lot of the things that we've been doing in the collegiate scene and now streamline those back into the youth market specifically. And in terms of tangible opportunities, we're still kind of defining the exact nuanced details for what this agreement's going to look like. And I'll explain that here in a minute as well, kind of what we're waiting on right now. But effectively, we want to make sure that we are the voice for all of your students, for all your schools, for all your programs. You have some awesome individuals on this call already, I know, for partnerships that'll be helping lead some consultation and some tech auditing and curriculum and other things like that as well. View us as that other resource, just the different kind of end of the spectrum for which part of the industry we occupy. Right. We are the professional organization here that competes in LCS starting next week again, and CSGO and Dota, and keep your eyes peeled. You might see a new title entered by us here in the next few weeks. But we are that pinnacle of the market for competitive gaming. And for us, though, the emphasis is not just Path to Pro. How do you become the next top laner for our LCS roster? It's how do you get Anthony Scala's job? How do you become the collegiate lead at EG? How do you work as a business operations intern, at Evil Geniuses and find your way through the industry? And we want to start to apply that back to not only your students in your programs, but provide opportunity for them to understand what it takes to get to EG in their career moving forward. And so for individual administrators on here, I'm sure some of you are more well-defined, I'll say, in terms of what your program currently stands as, in terms of offering student involvement from those other kind of front office operation ends. Some programs are going to be a little bit further along than others, but we want to help ensure that we're allowing you accessibility from us to model your high school programs and your curriculums and your other things to be also cohesive to what the actual day-to-day is at an Evil Geniuses, or what the expectation is from somebody like myself when I'm getting a new entry-level employee coming into the market. And we want to start being able to develop them at that younger age. So I know that's a lot of words. And I know I'm sure I got to get on a flight and catch margaritas with Matt here soon. He was selling me on Mexico. It sounded like a little bit earlier, but we're going to have some more high level details coming out ideally in the next few weeks. I know this didn't give a lot of specificity, but that's because we are also working on something much more broad macro for the nation in general. And we're looking towards your organization and your supporting cast as kind of the inaugural pilot within that subset program, so to speak. So that's why things are a little bit vague and ambiguous right now as I'm speaking. But definitely expect some very cool, unique activation opportunities, some very cool engagements for your students and your program leaders, either yourselves or your actual students. It'll be two-pronged in that regard. For certain individuals, there may be some high level like NDAs or other things involved as we talk about some crazy high level intellectual property that we're creating and other cool things that we want to streamline to the space. So to me, it's a really cool experience because I've been at the high school level. I've done it collegially. I'm now working at Evil Geniuses, and I am just super, super excited to be able to start developing students and the future leaders at such a young age right now. I mean, and just to put it in perspective, our collegiate program has been live with the interns for about 7 or 8 months now. In that time, we've converted 3 of them to full-time positions at Evil Geniuses already. I have another 3 that have been requested, or no, now 4 that are essentially being poached from me by other functional leaders. So we have one that was requested by our CEO for a private business internship. We have one that's working in gaming operations. We have one that's working in data analytics and technology. We have one that just got requested to be a social media strategist and marketing. So the point being, that's what we do here, and that's what we want to live and breathe, is developmental resourcing for students and leaders and programs, with the intention that what we want to help guide students to be and what we want to shape the industry to take form as will become the true pinnacle and gold standard of what it takes to be successful and exceed expectations in this industry. So that at a high level is kind of what's happening. So I'll hopefully have some more details to share here in the next few weeks, but I'll be sure to also drop my LinkedIn and my email as well. If anyone has any questions, anything like that, you want to connect, I'm always more than happy. I mean, I spend probably half of my, I'm not even going to tell you how many hours a week that I'm locked in working at EG, but connecting with different leaders, either at high school levels, collegiate programs, different vendors, companies, everything in between. So, if there's one thing I can leave it on though, it's definitely take me seriously when I tell you, reach out to me if you have questions or if you want to pick my brain about something, or if you have an idea. Not only myself, but I have an entire staff behind me of 10, 12, I think, interns right now that have been through the collegiate and the youth space themselves and are truly definitively the elite of the elite for their skill sets in the industry right now. So we have the resources, we have the knowledge, the expertise. let me know, please. Like, I'll drop my email, my LinkedIn, reach out. I will always get back to you. Might not always be the quickest. I might be thrown back to margaritas with Matt in Mexico, but I promise I will always reply back.
That's awesome. I just want everybody to know EG is like the Chicago Bulls for esports, or I guess the Nets for the New Jersey. But,
Yeah, we're the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I mean,
for
honestly,
gaming, but
what you and Chris are working on is incredible, and the career pathways kind of beyond just being a gamer, if you will, is awesome. So I've heard a little bit of what Chris is working on with you guys, and it sounds amazing. So cool. And catch a flight. I got a marg waiting on you now. So.
That's what I knew. I showed up to the right call today.
There you go. So, I mean, hopefully everybody on the call and everybody listening can kind of see why we're so excited. We have the support from the New Jersey colleges and universities. It's starting to swell. We have the support from the companies in New Jersey, right? It's continuing to swell. Having the pro support so we can create that path, that way that students can follow, right? Their passion through school into post-secondary. And beyond. So we're really setting up something special here. And so that's why I'm excited about the spring and beyond. But I really have to stress this next part. And it's something that if I had to put a pin in something as saying, this is the most important thing that we need to do as an organization, right? This is the biggest thing that I'm challenging all of you, that I'm making a priority with my team as well. Right, this school to college pipeline is missing a huge piece, and that's varsity esports programs, varsity letter eligible programs. And so to give you some of the quick background on this, if you follow New Jersey law, like I'm sure most of you do, they passed a law in New Jersey, I want to say it's 2017. But basically it says any interscholastic competition is eligible in New Jersey for a varsity letter. So it doesn't just have to be football and wrestling and track, it's also chess and dance and other things like that. Varsity esports is 100% possible and needs to happen in this state. And the reason I say this is the school to college pipeline, the school to career pipeline doesn't matter as much if we are not taking care of this as well. And here's one of the reasons why. There's currently 195 colleges offering over $14 million in scholarships. If your program is not a varsity letter eligible program, and mine is, my kids automatically have a leg up on your kids. And there is nothing stopping your program, if you serve 9th to 12th graders, from being varsity eligible, other than your board of ed just has to say yes. You can make the criteria anything you want it to be. Now, on that end, the team at Garden State Esports and I, we have written what we believe to be, right, the perfect criteria for a varsity esports program. And it's really very simple. To be in good standing with your school, to be a player in good standing with your team, to be a player who competes in 75% of varsity esports matches. That's it. Eligible for a varsity letter. Now, as somebody who's coached in this state for 12 years, I also added that a coach can award a letter to any student who they see fit for benefiting the team. Because the other thing there, a quick aside, as a former wrestling coach, I always made sure my managers got letters because they were some of the most important people on my team. So when we start to think about all the different opportunities in esports, whether it's casting, whether it's content creation, whether it's something in finance, whether it's running your website, whether it's doing a podcast, you also have the ability to give varsity letters to students that aren't even players. This is how we start to even the playing field. And so one thing I want to make sure I stress, and one thing you're going to get emailed to you in the next couple of days, is the pre-written resolution that your Board of Ed needs to approve, right, to have a varsity eligible program. And I can't tell you how important I think that is. I'm excited to say that we have 6 or 7 districts who have already started the process. And I'm hoping that by the fall, anybody in Garden State Esports who serves 9th to 12th grade students will have a varsity eligible program, board approved, ready for the fall, so we can start getting these kids the varsity letters that they need to be competitive at the collegiate level, right, with these other programs. Because there are now, I believe, 4 states at a state level that are recognizing esports as a varsity program. We need to do that, right? As somebody who used to be the representative for the NJSIAA for wrestling, I have a really good relationship with them. I've reached out to them every 3 months over the last 3 years to update them about esports. And each time they come back to me and they say, we are not interested in being involved, which is fantastic, because that means Garden State Esports is the governing body for esports in the state of New Jersey. Once we get these programs with these varsity letters, we have the connections to the colleges, we have the connections, right, to the companies, we have the connections to the pro level, right? 195 colleges offering over $14 million in scholarships. And that doesn't include the fact that every college, I would argue, in this country has esports as part of their 5-year program. This is something that we need to do as an organization, and I'm hoping that I can challenge you who serve 9th to 12th grade students to work with your Board of Ed, your athletic director in some cases, or whomever else, right, to get this taken care of, because this is a big missing piece that we need to do. To that end, we are going to start to model our seasons starting in the fall of 2021 around New Jersey's athletic schedule for multiple reasons. Number one is to show the seriousness that we're taking these varsity eligible programs. So if you look, right, I heard you guys loud and clear, starting an esports team in September, right, isn't feasible. It's too difficult. Let everybody get their feet wet and everybody relax in September, get their team up and running by October. But what we're looking at, and again, there's a lot of strategy to what we're doing. Every school that has come on board is looking at Rocket League as their entry level game. So we start with that into the fall. We offer middle school Rocket League, right, along the same lines as football, for instance, right? So think about, again, the seasons matching up very closely with football, having a middle school Rocket League state championship for your competitive kids, but having your high school Rocket League New Jersey state championship as well. We are not entering NASIP tournaments at the high school level next year, right? Only at the end of the year when NASIP hosts national tournaments will we send our teams that finish in the top 4 to those national level tournaments. So Garden State Esports, we are doing everything in-house starting in the fall, right? And what I like about this, as we talk about the winter season, is most, if not all, of the programs in Garden State Esports have approved their stipend coaching position as a year-long club activity. One thing I want to prevent is student and coach burnout. So having a clear delineation when it comes to what we're offering at the competitive and varsity level, right? You have certain kids that'll be into Rocket League, and if they want to stick around for Overwatch, they can, but if they want to go do something else, they play basketball, they have that opportunity as well. There is also districts now and the opportunity using this model for coaches to split stipends. Maybe you coach Rocket League and then you pass it off to somebody else to do Overwatch, right? Because what we're going to do for the winter competitive season, probably our most popular game is Overwatch. And so what we're going to do is in the winter, when I would say most students are free to play, right? We're going to have our most popular game in the winter. And so we'll have the high school Overwatch state championship. And I'll tell you, I've been surprised. More than half of our middle schools have gotten Overwatch approved. So what we're going to look at this spring is how middle school Overwatch goes. And if we have the numbers, like I think we're going to, right now we have 16 middle schools at least that are approved to run Overwatch for their 7th and 8th graders who are 13. We're probably going to offer middle school Overwatch in the winter as well. And then finally, in the spring, with the help of UGC, we will have our League of Legends, and we will have our middle school Brawlhalla state championships. And if you look, this is also, right, again, at the varsity level, what scholarships are being offered for. You have your sports games, you have your first-person shooter style games, and then you have your MOBA games. So we are also giving students the opportunity to earn a letter, right, in the game that they are talented at. So we're building up those resumes for our students so they can be competitive, right, in the collegiate scene. Now, again, as a casual JV kind of year-round experience, maybe not all of your kids make the varsity team, but you have a club, you have JV kids, you have kids who want to be involved, maybe they're not that serious. Or if you happen to come aboard, right, future schools come aboard in the middle of a season, there's always going to be something to do. We're going to have this casual year-round offering. There's always going to be a monthly Minecraft build challenge, right? We will also have Fortnite battle royales, you know, weekly, if not bi-weekly. We will have Smash Brothers year-round, kind of a casual offering. Most likely Rocket League, because again, that's what every school is coming and playing. That's kind of the point of entry. So offering that is really important. And again, because of the software and UGC's amazing dev team, we can continue to add to this. We can change this. We are working on a bot that is going to allow us to do this right through our Discord. So you can jump in and play, you know, Rocket League on Mondays. But if you miss a day or kids are absent, it's not a big deal. So there's going to be something for everybody to do. There's going to be regular baseline offerings in a casual way for kids to jump in, jump out. Everybody gets, you know, an opportunity. But then we're also going to have this competitive season that is going to follow the varsity sports season of New Jersey. And again, if we get those varsity programs up and running, I think it's going to really help us make our kids as competitive as possible when it comes to the collegiate and post-secondary scene. So some other fun stuff to look forward to for the spring. We have been donated space at the Rack at Rutgers for the end of May, early June. So if it is safe to meet face-to-face, we will do some type of showcase then, where we'll get everybody together and we'll just have a great day of esports, and we'll have all kinds of fun stuff. Our SEL, CTE, and content creation curricula are just about ready to roll out. Most of them are coming back from layout, right? We wanted to make sure that they look good and they function properly. Also look forward to monthly esports workshops, right? Whether it's presented by EG. The one that we have coming up, I'll email you guys when it's going to be February 7th. We have a workshop on how to prevent esports injuries, because there's actually a hospital system in New Jersey that has an esports physical therapist on staff, and they're going to be doing a workshop for us on February 7th. So start to look for monthly esports workshops, whether it's about coaching, whether it's about the industry, whether it is about just, you know, health and wellness, digital citizenship, all that good stuff. We're also working on a league mentor program. Right, again, half of our league is pretty game savvy. And at this point, half of our league has had a season under their belt. I am hoping and looking for leaders like Miss Gumto who want to jump on and be a league mentor. So as these new programs come in, they have somebody to talk to and somebody that they can help guide, right? To be able to have a Harrington work with a new school district to help them get off the ground, I think is really important, right? So it's all about elevating, right, and helping everybody out. Rising tide raises all ships. So look for a league mentor program to be rolled out. We also know that there is more to esports than obviously the competitive gaming side. So we are going to be rolling out something we're calling Artist Alley, where students can share hype videos and graphics they designed, cosplay pictures, interviews, podcasts, really you name it, any of that content that students can create. We want to showcase that for Garden State Esports. And so again, whether it's every team has a team journalist, every team has a team podcaster, you know, hype videos, whatever the case may be. We want to provide opportunities for artists in the esports space, right, to have a spot in Garden State Esports as well. We're working on a number of different fronts to have coaching certification. So everyone would go through, we would talk about kind of the best practices for having a team, make sure you're creating safe and inclusive spaces, what do practices look like. And what I'm excited to say is part of the SHI Intel partnership, every coach who goes through and completes coaching certification is going to get a Garden State Esports jersey and book. So they, you know, some of the added incentive for being part of that. And I will say we are in talks to having the coaching certification process also count as continuing education credits. We are narrowing down which university is going to host that for us, but that should be ready to go for us by the fall. And then last but not least, right, even at the Garden State Esports level, we want to offer internships for high school students. So having students who know how to code, helping Miss Sellers work on her bot, or having students who are way more savvy at Discord, you know, help with Discord, or those students who know how to stream and run the back end of a stream, help students, you know, stream their own games when their schools are playing. So we will be rolling out different opportunities for students who just maybe want to go beyond working for your program, but really help on a state level. So look for that in the spring as well. And then I do want to give a shout out. Obviously, I couldn't do any of this by myself, to our team. I mentioned that my co-founder is the wonderful Mr. Steve Isaacs. You know, Steve has taken a position at Epic and will be leaving us, as well as the state. And while it is devastating, I, you know, can't get rid of him that easy. So I forced him to stay on as an advisor, so we can always have Steve in our lives. But as Steve slides out of that vice president role, I'm excited to announce that Regina Schaefer is coming on board. And Regina and I have kind of been running this hand in hand over the last 2 or 3 months. And I'm excited to have Regina kind of having the, you know, I mean, Regina is fantastic in so many ways. So having her to lean on and help me make sure the vision for Garden State Esports is amazing as it can be, is really something that I'm excited to. And we have Leanna. Leanna, like I said, is working on our content creation curriculum when it comes to podcasting and journalism, streaming and casting and all that good stuff, and the relationship that we'll be announcing with Twitch shortly, right? Leanna has taken a lead on that. We have Dr. Matt Strobel and his brother Phil and Esteban, who make up the SEL team. And I'll tell you, give you a little preview, right? That SEL curriculum is about a week away from coming out of layout. We just had a fantastic meeting with Castle, and Castle couldn't have been more excited with our SEL curriculum, to the point where they discussed possibly making a new tier for what we're trying to do, right? That after school club program kind of intervention tier or SEL tier. But those are the experts, and we'll be having workshops with them as the curriculum rolls out, and they'll be talking about how to build students' leadership and communication, health and wellness, digital citizenship, and navigating digital culture. I'm excited to announce Tracy Sellers, who I've known forever. We worked with each other at Barnegat. She's coming aboard as the code mistress. When we talk about that casual experience that we can provide, and you guys have seen the reschedule bot, and you will soon see the friendly bot, which helps match you up for the casual matches. That is being overseen by Miss Sellers, who is, you know, a coding wizard. So we're happy to have her on the team. Joshua Case is not only the head coach of Jersey City University. He's also jumping aboard to help us roll out this collegiate partnership and peer coaching. And then we have Chris Bomer, who is over at Brookdale, and I like to call him, he is the IT version of MacGyver, right? He continues to help us with all our IT needs. And then somebody who is not on here that is shy, but we're excited to have, is a middle school teacher from North Brunswick, Seth Upton. And what Seth brings to the table, which is exciting, is he was part of the team that got esports approved as a varsity sport in Colorado statewide. And so to have Seth on the team and kind of helping us out with this varsity program and how it fits and what it looks like in New Jersey is super exciting as well. So, you know, it's definitely not just me. Really, these are the folks that make it possible. And so just know that Garden State Esports is in good hands. And so last but not least, before we open it up to Q&A, or we just want to hang out, or you guys want to go to bed, to-do list, right? Number one, if you are not in the Discord, you need to be in the Discord. With all the things that we have coming, it's just probably not going to be possible to participate if you are not in the Discord. And so if you don't know what Discord is, or you have no idea, right, please reach out and I'm happy to help you figure that out. But just know you're going to be receiving another email where I beg you to get in the Discord if you are not. You're also going to be getting a registration for the spring season. You're going to be able to register for whatever you want, however many teams that you want, because I want to kind of see where the interest and excitement lies. And also, again, if you have a gaming background or you have been through this fall season with us, please consider becoming a mentor, right? So I can assign you to somebody and you can help bring them on board as well. We definitely need to start the varsity esports process. My dream is that everybody is approved and ready to roll out a varsity esports team, you know, with the start of the fall season in 2021. And then again, you can see that we are growing just exponentially. So if you have a passion and you want to join this amazing team, if you want to help manage the leagues, if you want to, I don't know, I'm open to anything. If you have ideas and projects you want to oversee, the Garden State Esports door is always open to anybody who wants to, you know, help take Garden State Esports to the next level. But that's it, folks. That's kind of where we're going. That's kind of what we're doing. I'm excited to continue this journey and really do something special, not just for the state of New Jersey, but we really are kind of doing something unprecedented on a national level. So this continues to be a wonderful journey, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. I'm happy to open it up for Q&A. If anybody has any questions or thoughts, we can go down that road. If you need to skedaddle, that's also okay as well. I will send out this recording because it looks like I did it right for the first time. So I will send this to all of you and anybody else. Katie says, trying to understand why the break from NASIP and whether you will provide the support they do in terms of coaches, team registration software. So we are not breaking from NASIP at all. Part of the NASIP reorganization is a commitment to supporting affiliates at a state level and them taking a more bigger scale at a national level. So they will still be handling registration for us. They will be offering some opportunities that we probably couldn't land ourselves. So for instance, the EA Madden partnership is coming through NASIP. The current and ongoing Microsoft and Minecraft partnership and all of the build challenges right now are going through NASIP. So if anything, NASIP listened to our feedback and said the process to getting into the NASIP events was hard for us because, again, if you guys don't know, they had, I think, everything due like September 7th, and New Jersey schools were like back September 6th. So there was a disconnect when it comes to New Jersey going back so late in the year. And then as, again, NASIP is going to transfer, you're going to see a name change as they go into the Worldwide Scholastic Esports Federation. Their focus is going to be on providing national experiences and then supporting experiences at the state level. So if anything, our collaboration with NASIP is going to increase, not decrease. And I've been with them before they were NASIP, back when they were, you know, born for the Orange County education system before they were NASIP. So they're not going anywhere. They continue to be, you know, one of our best and longest partners. So, yep, if anything, you're going to see more from NASIP, less. But can everyone get a coach that we did with NASIP? So part of what happened with the transition from NASIP to leaving Samueli and becoming the Worldwide Scholastic Esports Federation, they are not currently able to support their coaching initiative that like they did through Connected Camps. So that's why I have been working so hard with Regina to get these colleges on board. Because number one, it strengthens the pipeline here in New Jersey when we have our kids interacting with college kids. But number two, at this time, at least for now, NASIF will not be able to offer that for the foreseeable future. So we are filling that role we're filling that role for you guys by partnering with the colleges. So we are hopefully going to be able to get you coaches. It's just going to be a college student here in New Jersey rather than somebody from Connected Camps. Nick's asking, I missed the part about UGC. Are they replacing League Spot? Yes, we are moving from League Spot over to UGC. Matt and his team can better meet our needs for how we're growing and our casual experience and some of these kind of one-off things like the Madden tournament and stuff like that will be better suited for UGC. We will be moving to UGC this spring, right? We'll be moving this spring to UGC. And I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised with the user experience. And I know on the back end for my ability to manage the leagues and the seasons, the teams and the players, it's wonderful. So I think it's a net win for everybody.
One thing I would add, Chris, is if anybody has input or needs, like anything that you guys feel would better your organization, please tell us, because you get access to our development team and our staffing like it's your staff. So if you say, hey, we need this kind of team management software, or we need whatever it may be, we want to make our product the best, and your feedback is going to be incredibly valuable. So as we build this, this is yours as well. And so let us know, because I don't feel any other company is offering you guys the support in terms of getting direct technical development team access. And it's going to make our product better too. So I'm thankful for the feedback you guys can give.
I ask instead of the chat, I'm kind of new to all this. I was approved under the SEL component in Bricktown because the kids are really, really falling apart. I mean, it's very sad of what's going on, at home, and they're isolated. And so for someone like me that's new, what would be, if you could walk me through step by step? The kids are familiar with Discord. I'm familiar with Discord, and they have their one-on-one, they have their laptops, and I don't want it to be something where I'm like, well, here you go, here's an hour, and then I'll check back. Like, I want to be a part of it. I just not sure how to go about doing that.
Yeah. So what I'll do, Tara, is I'll send you some resources. I put together a couple of videos and guides about kind of how I've been coaching, and some of the other coaches have been coaching their esports team while totally virtual. But to make a long story short, I generally have Classroom as a place where I organize my kids. And we meet in Zoom during practice. And as the coach, I jump from game to game. But, it's that piece of getting the kids together, even if it is in Zoom, but at least it's not, they're in class doing classwork. But I'm happy to work with you to talk to you and anybody, right, about what that looks like. But that's kind of how it's been going. Okay.
And it's approved for after school 1:30 to 2:30.
Awesome.
And I don't know, if there's any other equipment that I would need to get them. And thank God the kids know, so I'm kind of going to learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I will reach out and we will get you everything you need, and we will make sure you're ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
I will email you and we'll set something up one-on-one, and we'll make sure that you feel comfortable to get this process started. And then I'll reach out to New Jersey City University. Maybe you can be one of the first to have a college student help coach.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Wonderful. So Oren is asking, so registration is going to be through UGC, not NASIF. So here's kind of how it's going to work. When a new district comes to Garden State Esports, I'm going to continue to ask them to register right first through NASIF. Because if you guys didn't know, for instance, the Minecraft accounts are free if you register with NASIF. Being able to enter the Madden Invitational Tournament is going to be if you're registered through NASIF. So from a kind of higher picture league standpoint, NASIF has been wonderful in helping us manage, the registration of everybody, as well as the opportunities you provide for being registered. And to give you an idea, as soon as a team registers, school registers with NASIF, it goes right to my Garden State Esports dashboard. So that's going to continue. Or when it comes to registering for the seasons and the games, what we're likely going to do is we'll send out, Garden State Esports will send out some type of form, and you will kind of give us the info there. And then I turn that spreadsheet over to UGC, and together we create the seasons, create the teams, input the kids, and we do it that way. One of the biggest pieces of feedback I heard was that getting everybody registered and all the packets in with NASIF was kind of difficult. So we're going to be taking over that piece with UGC. So for instance, when you guys get that form, if you want to play Rocket League, you kind of tell me, do you want to play it on a casual level or a competitive level? If it's a competitive level, right, you'll kind of submit your roster, and then we will load pretty much everything into it for you. So you have to really just worry about playing. So that's the plan. We want to take that lift off of you guys, and Matt and his team and I, as of right now, like an AD, I'm probably going to hand schedule the matches. One thing I didn't mention as part of that varsity experience is, especially drawing on my background from wrestling, I want to recreate the districts and the regions and the conferences that you see across the state, because I want that rivalry, right, of Middletown North playing Middletown South. I want that rivalry, of Asbury Park playing Neptune. I want that rivalry of Barnegat playing Southern Regional and Brick playing Brick Memorial. So when it comes to the seasons, right, you're going to be grouped as close to the traditional New Jersey conferences as possible, right? You'll be playing the closest people to you, because I think that's good for the sport, right? Knowing that you're competing against schools that the soccer team competes against and the football team competes against, I think is only a net benefit for everybody. So, doing the hand scheduling and stuff like that, making sure that the conferences and the leagues and the regions and stuff like that mirror what's already happening in New Jersey to match what we're doing with the seasons, is also part of the reason why UGC is such a valuable partner, is their platform allows me the flexibility to do all of that. Any other questions, friends? Will the competitive season games remain fixed from year to year, or will some of the friendly games eventually have the opportunity to become competitive? So the friendly games will definitely have the opportunity to become competitive. On one front, it matters on interest, right? If all of a sudden we have, 3/4 of the league has the ability to play Smash, maybe that replaces Brawlhalla or something like that. As games come out and games become popular, adding them is not, an issue. Again, that's what makes the UGC platform so wonderful. I can tell you that we will never have rated M games. We will never have mature games. But anything that is under that, I'm open to. I'm even open to non-traditional stuff, right? When you think about build challenges with Minecraft as an esport, right? That's not traditional. When you think about speed running, right? We have a Super Mario 3 speedrunning competition. I'm open to anything. Whatever the kids are excited about, whatever is going to get kids out and get kids together, I'm fine with. The only other thing that I have to be aware of and I got to be thoughtful of is equity, right? Again, it's not fair to have a state championship in, really it comes down to Smash when you can't get into Smash, without $300, $400, $500. That's not fair. So if you look at Rocket League, it's a free cross-platform sports game. When you look at Overwatch, especially if you read about Overwatch 2, it's going to be a cross-platform game. And we have enough connections with Blizzard and the New York Excelsior where I could probably get accounts for schools that don't have accounts. And then you look at League of Legends, Brawlhalla, and games like Fortnite, again, free cross-play. Well, not so much for League of Legends. But we have to keep the barrier to entry as low as possible, because what's the fun in being a state champion unless everybody has an equal opportunity to participate? you're not much of a state champion if only 5 of the schools out of, the 83 that we have can be part of it. So, to me, it's a balancing act. And as always, nothing is set in stone. I'm always open to feedback. My Discords and DMs and all that fun stuff, emails are always open.
Chris, one thing I would add is
Please.
You guys are a big and powerful group. So there's probably opportunities for the game developers to give their software for free, like Autodesk does. Autodesk is free to your school for the students to know that platform and graduate and use that platform. We work with Microsoft heavily. I've talked to Turn 10 Studios for Forza, which is a racing game, and they are willing to give download codes for free to your schools. So, strength by numbers, you guys are a big group, and you might be able to get support that way too, which hopefully UGC can help with. So
yeah, absolutely. Between UGC and SHI and Intel and the funding they provided, if there are equity issues, we will do everything that we can to shore them up. Will there be more opportunities for league outside of spring competitive seasons, invitational, any chance of doing league friendly? So, this is an interesting question, James, right? James is asking about League of Legends friendlies. I have gone back and forth, and the team has gone back and forth on offering a varsity style game all year round, right? When we think about player burnout and we think about coach burnout, do we want to offer League of Legends and Overwatch all year round? I think we have to offer Rocket League because that is the entry level for every team that's come into our program. So having that, I think, is a necessity. But again, I'm open to feedback, and I would turn that to you, James. Do you think it is a benefit to have League of Legends all year round and then have a separate competitive season in the spring? Or do you think having League all year round dilutes the experience?
Good point. I know for me, my school, Hopakon in North Jersey, this was our first competitive season. And League was probably my second most popular game that the kids had asked about. I started on this whole esports journey last spring when everything got shut down. My assistant superintendent called me one afternoon and asked me what I knew about Rocket League. And I was able to run an in-house 2-month-long club completely from home. The kids logged in from home, just doing Rocket League, and had 65 kids participate in that between my middle school and high school. So over the summer, when we decided to see what else we can do with it, League of Legends was the #1 requested game that my students asked for. So I don't know.
And we're definitely going to offer it, but what it comes down to for me is if you are coaching and your kids are playing League every Wednesday for the entire school year, and then the spring varsity competitive season hits, are your kids going to be less likely to be excited, more likely? Are they going to be burned out? Are you going to be burned out? That was just my thought. And if nothing else, maybe this spring we'll look at Rocket League, because we're offering high school friendlies and we're offering high school kind of state championship. Maybe we'll see what those numbers are like. And I think maybe the other thing, if I'm not sure if I mentioned, at the time, at least for right now, I do not plan on separating high school and middle school out for friendlies. I'm going to have them play each other because #1, I don't want to dilute the pool. But #2, I think there's opportunities and excitement when middle schools take on high school. And I think we could do some cool stuff when it comes there. But, all I can do is we'll look at the spring season and we'll kind of make the, make the judgment. Because it's not like, let's say we have league friendlies and it goes really strong in the fall and then you see a big drop off in the winter. Well, we could kind of shut that party down and then, come back in the spring with the varsity program. Because again, the flexibility of UGC, the flexibility of the Discord bot that we're coding, we can basically do whatever we want and we can do it almost on the fly. So the short answer to your question is there's always an opportunity for anything to happen. If the interest is there and the excitement is there, we'll do it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Awesome, dude. Any other questions, friends? So what I'll do then is I'm going to stop the recording, but I am happy to hang out and answer any other questions, or if you guys just want to, talk,